Right now, as you're watching this video, you're probably a slave, and you don't even know it. I'm not talking about chains or whips or working in factories for pennies. I'm talking about something far more insidious, something that's hijacked your brain without you realizing it. You wake up and immediately reach for your phone. You scroll for hours without remembering what you saw. You buy things you don't need with money you don't have, to impress people you don't like. You work jobs that drain your soul just to afford a lifestyle that's supposed to make you happy, but leaves you empty inside. You think you're making choices, but really, your choices are being made for you by algorithms designed to keep you addicted, by companies that profit from your attention, by a system that needs you dependent to survive. The uncomfortable truth is that modern slavery isn't about physical chains. It's about mental chains. It's about dopamine addiction that keeps you trapped in cycles you can't break. It's about psychological dependence that makes you believe you're free while you're actually more controlled than ever before. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Once you see these chains, you can break them. Part 1. The dopamine debt trap. There's something happening in your brain right now that's more dangerous than any drug on the street. Every time you check your phone, scroll through social media, or buy something online, you're taking out a loan from your future self. This isn't a metaphor, this is literal brain chemistry. And just like financial debt, the bill always comes due. Your brain produces dopamine when you anticipate a reward. It's supposed to motivate you to seek food, shelter, and connection. But billion-dollar companies have figured out how to hack this system. They've turned your phone into a slot machine and your attention into their profit. Here's what they don't want you to know. Every notification, every like, every purchase creates what scientists call neurochemical debt. Your brain releases dopamine, expecting a bigger reward than what you actually get. The gap between what you expect and what you receive creates a deficit. Your brain demands more stimulation just to feel normal. This is why you need to check your phone more often than you used to. This is why nothing feels as exciting as it once did. This is why you're constantly searching for the next hit of entertainment, validation, or shopping. You're not weak. You're not lacking willpower. Your brain has been systematically hijacked. The companies behind your favorite apps employ teams of neuroscientists, behavioral economists, and addiction specialists. Their job is to make their products irresistible. They study gambling addiction and apply those same techniques to social media, shopping apps, and streaming services. Your dopamine system works exactly like financial interest. The more debt you accumulate, the harder it becomes to pay back. You need bigger hits to feel the same satisfaction. What used to excite you now barely registers. You're caught in an endless cycle of seeking more intense experiences just to feel baseline normal. But here's the breakthrough that changes everything. Once you understand that you're not fighting an addiction, but rather fighting a multi-billion-dollar manipulation machine, you can start to fight back strategically. This is the first key to breaking free from modern slavery. And it's crucial because everything else builds on this foundation. The solution isn't willpower. The solution is understanding how the debt system works and then restructuring your environment to stop accumulating new debt while you pay down the old. When you recognize that your cravings aren't character flaws, but engineered responses, you can begin to engineer counter-responses. This is insight number 1 of 10 that will completely transform how you see your relationship with technology and freedom. Part 2. The attention auction block. Right now, as you're watching this video, there's an auction happening for your next thought. Companies are bidding on your attention in real time, and you're not seeing a penny of the profits. Your focus has become the most valuable commodity on earth, and you're giving it away for free. Every second you spend online, algorithms are calculating your worth. They know how long you'll watch, what makes you click, and exactly how much money they can extract from your eyeball time. Your attention isn't just being captured, it's being harvested, packaged, and sold to the highest bidder. Think of your mind as prime real estate in the middle of Manhattan. Tech companies have become the landlords, and they're renting out space in your head to advertisers. The difference is, in real Manhattan, property owners get paid. In your mental Manhattan, you're paying them for the privilege of being advertised to. This is why Instagram is free. This is why YouTube doesn't charge you. This is why TikTok wants you to spend hours scrolling. You're not the customer. You're the product being sold. Every minute of your attention is being auctioned off to companies that want to influence your behavior, your purchases, and your beliefs. Your cognitive real estate is finite. You only have so much mental bandwidth each day. When you give it away for free to endless scrolling, mindless videos, and manufactured outrage, you're depleting the very resource you need to build the life you actually want. The attention economy has turned your focus into a renewable resource that's being strip-mined 24 hours a day. Your thoughts, your interests, your curiosity are all being monetized by companies that know more about your psychology than you do. Here's what they don't want you to realize. The moment you understand that your attention has monetary value, you can start charging for it. You can become selective about who gets access to your mental real estate. You can start treating your focus like the precious, limited resource it actually is, but it gets deeper. These platforms don't just want your attention, they want to shape your desires, influence your decisions, and determine what you think is important. They're not just renting space in your head, they're redecorating it to serve their purposes. This is insight number 2 of 10, and it reveals how you can take back ownership of the most valuable thing you possess, your ability to choose what deserves your focus. Part 3. The Choice Architecture. Prison. You think you're making free choices, but someone else designed the menu. Every decision you make happens inside an invisible prison, built by people who understand your psychology better than you do. Your environment is secretly controlling your behavior, and breaking free requires recognizing the bars you can't see. Walk into any grocery store. The expensive items are at eye level. The impulse purchases surround the checkout. The milk is always in the back corner. This isn't accident. This is choice architecture. Someone designed your path to maximize their profit and minimize your conscious decision-making. But it's not just grocery stores. Your phone's home screen is choice architecture. Your social media feed is choice architecture. Your workplace layout is choice architecture. Even your own living room is choice architecture. Every environment you enter has been designed to nudge you toward specific behaviors. The scary part is how effective it is. Studies show that 95% of your decisions happen automatically, below the level of conscious awareness. You think you're choosing, but really, you're just following the path of least resistance that someone else built for you. This is why you always end up buying more than you planned. This is why you spend more time on your phone than you intended. This is why you make the same decisions over and over, even when you know they're not serving you. Your environment is making your choices before your conscious mind gets involved. The companies and institutions around you have teams of behavioral scientists whose job is to design your choices. They use techniques called nudges to make certain options seem more attractive, more convenient, or more obvious. They don't force you to choose. They just make their preferred choice the easiest one to make. Here's the breakthrough. Once you understand that your environment is secretly controlling your behavior, you can start redesigning it to serve your goals instead of someone else's profits. You can become the architect of your own choices instead of the victim of someone else's design. True freedom isn't just having options. True freedom is consciously designing the context where your choices happen. When you control your choice architecture, you control your life. When someone else controls your choice architecture, they control your life. Most people never realize they're living inside someone else's design. They think their habits, their preferences, and their decisions reflect their authentic selves. But strip away the environmental conditioning, and you might be surprised by what you actually want. This is insight number 3 of 10, and it's the key to transforming from a passive consumer of choices into an active designer of your own destiny. Part 4. The Comparison Manufacturing Machine. Your unhappiness is being manufactured on an industrial scale. Social media platforms don't just show you content, they algorithmically engineer envy, dissatisfaction, and inadequacy. Your self-worth has become a renewable resource that's being harvested to keep you scrolling, clicking, and consuming. Every time you open Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, an algorithm instantly calculates what will make you feel the most inadequate. It's not showing you random content. It's showing you precisely calibrated comparisons, designed to trigger your insecurities. Your feed is a personalized inadequacy generator. The algorithm knows that comparison drives engagement. Happy people don't scroll for hours. Satisfied people don't click on ads. Content people don't buy things they don't need. So the platform deliberately shows you lives that seem better than yours, bodies that seem more perfect than yours, and success that seems more achievable than yours. This isn't accidental. It's called compare and despair, and it's been weaponized by tech companies who understand that emotional discomfort keeps you engaged. The more inadequate you feel, the more time you spend seeking validation, information, or solutions that the platform is happy to provide. Your brain isn't equipped to handle constant comparison with the highlight reels of millions of strangers. For most of human history, you compared yourself to maybe a few dozen people in your village. Now you're comparing yourself to influencers, celebrities, and carefully curated personas that don't even represent real life. But here's what they don't want you to know. The people you're comparing yourself to are often just as miserable, insecure, and desperate for validation as you are. Social media has created a world where everyone is performing happiness while secretly feeling inadequate. You're competing in a game where everyone is pretending to win. The comparison manufacturing machine runs on your self-worth. Every time you doubt yourself, question your life, or feel like you're falling behind, the algorithm has successfully created engagement. Your insecurity is their revenue stream. The solution isn't to get off social media entirely. The solution is to recognize when you're being manipulated by manufactured comparisons. Real confidence comes from comparing yourself to who you were yesterday, not to someone else's carefully edited highlight reel. When you stop feeding the comparison machine with your attention and emotions, something amazing happens. You start developing genuine self-worth based on your own growth, values, and authentic experiences, instead of algorithmic manipulation. This is insight number 4 of 10, and it's your blueprint for building unshakable confidence in a world designed to make you feel inadequate. Part 5. The busy trap illusion. Being busy has become the most socially acceptable way to avoid the most important questions of your life. Modern culture has convinced you that constant activity equals success, but really it's just a sophisticated form of procrastination. Your busyness is keeping you trapped in someone else's priorities, while your own dreams die of neglect. Look around you. Everyone is busy. Everyone is stressed. Everyone is running from meeting to meeting, task to task, notification to notification. But being busy isn't the same as being productive, and being productive isn't the same as being purposeful. Most people are sprinting on a treadmill that's going nowhere. The busy trap is brilliant because it feels productive. You're checking things off lists, responding to emails, attending meetings, and staying active. But if you stopped and asked yourself what you're actually building, what legacy you're creating, or what truly matters to you, you might not have an answer. Productivity culture has become a religion, and busyness is its highest virtue. You're supposed to optimize every minute, hack every process, and maximize every outcome. But optimization without direction is just efficient meaninglessness. You can be incredibly productive at completely the wrong things. Here's what they don't tell you about the productivity obsession. It's designed to keep you focused on tactics instead of strategy, on efficiency instead of effectiveness, on doing things right instead of doing the right things. When you're constantly busy, you don't have time to question whether you're busy with the right things. The deepest questions of life require stillness, reflection, and uninterrupted thinking. What do you actually want? What brings you genuine fulfillment? What would you regret not pursuing? These questions can't be answered while you're rushing from one task to another. Busyness has become a drug. It numbs the anxiety of uncertainty, masks the fear of missing out, and provides the illusion of progress. But just like any drug, it requires bigger doses to achieve the same effect. You need to be busier and busier just to feel like you're keeping up. The difference between being busy and being purposeful is simple. Busy people react to urgent demands. Purposeful people create important outcomes. Busy people fill their calendar. Purposeful people design their life. Busy people are always behind. Purposeful people are always aligned. When you escape the busy trap, you discover something incredible. The most important work of your life happens in the quiet moments between the noise. And genuine fulfillment requires space that busy people never create. This is insight number 5 of 10, and it's your guide to transforming from a busy person reacting to life into a purposeful person creating life. Part 6. The Instant Everything Syndrome. Your brain is being rewired for impatience, and it's destroying your ability to achieve anything meaningful. The instant gratification economy has trained you to expect immediate results, instant responses, and effortless outcomes. But everything worth having requires the one thing modern life has eliminated: patience. Think about how you behave when a web page takes more than 3 seconds to load. You get frustrated, you click away, you lose interest immediately. Now think about how this same impatience affects your goals, relationships, and personal growth. You expect instant results from efforts that naturally take time to develop. Your brain has a feature called temporal discounting. It values immediate rewards much more highly than future rewards, even when the future rewards are objectively better. This feature evolved to help you survive in dangerous environments where the future was uncertain. But now it's being exploited by companies that profit from your impatience. Every app, service, and product is designed to give you something right now. One-click ordering, instant streaming, immediate notifications, fast food, quick fixes, and rapid results. Your brain is being conditioned to expect everything instantly, which makes you incapable of pursuing anything that requires delayed gratification. But here's what they don't want you to know. Everything meaningful in life exists on the other side of delayed gratification. Your health, your relationships, your skills, your wealth, your character, your impact on the world. None of these can be developed instantly, but all of them require the patience that instant gratification destroys. The instant everything syndrome doesn't just make you impatient, it literally rewires your neural pathways. When you constantly seek immediate rewards, your brain builds stronger connections to impulsive behavior and weaker connections to long-term thinking. You're training yourself to be incapable of patience. This is why you start projects and don't finish them. This is why you give up on goals when you don't see immediate progress. This is why you choose short-term pleasure over long-term satisfaction. Your brain has been trained to value now over later, regardless of the consequences. The solution isn't to eliminate all instant gratification. The solution is to consciously practice delayed gratification in small ways that rebuild your patience muscles. Every time you choose to wait, to persist, or to delay a reward, you're literally rewiring your brain for freedom. When you master delayed gratification, you gain access to a level of achievement that instant gratification addicts can never reach. You can build businesses, develop skills, create art, and form relationships that compound over time, instead of providing quick hits that fade immediately. This is insight number 6 of 10, and it's your blueprint for developing the patience that unlocks everything worth having in life. The identity subscription model. Your identity has become a monthly subscription service, and you're paying for pieces of yourself that used to be free. Consumer culture has convinced you that you are what you buy, what you wear, and what you own. But authentic identity comes from what you create, not what you consume. Look at your bank statements. How much are you spending on identity maintenance? Clothes that express your personality, gadgets that reflect your lifestyle, subscriptions that define your interests, experiences that validate your self-image. You're literally paying monthly fees to feel like yourself. The identity subscription model is brilliant because it's never-ending. There's always a new version of yourself to buy, a new style to adopt, a new trend to follow, a new product that promises to unlock the person you're supposed to be. Your identity becomes an endless renovation project that never reaches completion. But here's the trap. When your identity depends on consumption, you never actually own it. You're always renting the latest version of yourself from companies that profit from your insecurity. The moment you stop paying, your identity feels threatened. You are what you buy, so you must keep buying to keep being. Consumer culture has convinced you that authentic self-expression requires purchasing the right products. Want to be creative? Buy art supplies. Want to be fit? Buy workout gear. Want to be successful? Buy the right clothes. But authentic identity has nothing to do with what you own, and everything to do with what you do. The people you most admire probably aren't defined by their possessions. They're defined by their actions, their values, their contributions, and their character. Their identity comes from who they are, not what they have. They create their sense of self instead of buying it. When you base your identity on consumption, you become a walking advertisement for someone else's business. Your personality becomes a collection of brand preferences, product choices, and consumer decisions. You're not expressing yourself. You're expressing the marketing messages that have successfully influenced you. Real identity is built through creation, contribution, and character development. It comes from the books you write, not the books you buy. The skills you develop, not the courses you purchase. The relationships you build, not the social media followers you accumulate. The problems you solve, not the products you own. The identity subscription model keeps you trapped in an endless cycle of purchasing new versions of yourself instead of actually becoming the person you want to be. When you realize that authentic identity is free and comes from within, you can cancel all your subscriptions to external validation. This is insight number 7 of 10, and it's your guide to building an unshakable sense of self that no company can monetize. Part 8. The fear-based decision engine. Most of your life decisions aren't based on what you want. They're based on fears that have been planted in your mind by people who profit from your anxiety. The media, advertisers, and institutions around you have become expert fear manufacturers, creating problems they can then sell you solutions to. Every advertisement is designed to make you afraid of something, afraid of being left behind, afraid of missing out, afraid of being judged, afraid of being unsafe, afraid of being unsuccessful, afraid of being alone. Your fears have become the fuel that powers the entire consumer economy. Think about your biggest life decisions: where you live, what you do for work, how you spend your money, who you try to impress. How many of these decisions are driven by genuine desire versus manufactured fear? You might be surprised by how much of your life is organized around avoiding problems that aren't even real. The fear-based decision engine works by creating artificial urgency around manufactured problems. You need to buy this insurance because something terrible might happen. You need to purchase this course because you're falling behind. You need to upgrade your lifestyle because people might judge you. You need to stay busy because being idle is dangerous. But here's what they don't want you to know. Most of the fears driving your decisions have been deliberately created by people who profit from your anxiety. The fear of social rejection sells beauty products. The fear of financial insecurity sells investment services. The fear of missing out sells experiences you don't actually want. Real fears are based on genuine threats to your safety, health, or well-being. Manufactured fears are based on social conditioning, media manipulation, and advertising psychology. The difference is that real fears help you survive and thrive. Manufactured fears keep you anxious, consuming, and controllable. When you make decisions based on manufactured fears, you end up living someone else's life. You work jobs you don't enjoy to buy things you don't need, to impress people you don't like, to avoid judgments that don't matter. Your entire life becomes organized around avoiding imaginary problems. The solution is to distinguish between real concerns and planted anxieties. Real concerns deserve your attention and action. Planted anxieties deserve your skepticism and resistance. Before making any major decision, ask yourself, am I moving towards something I want, or am I running away from something I've been taught to fear? When you stop making decisions based on manufactured fears, something incredible happens. You start making decisions based on genuine desires, authentic values, and actual opportunity. Your life transforms from fear-driven reaction to desire-driven creation. This is insight number 8 of 10, and it's your blueprint for making decisions based on what you want instead of what you've been taught to fear. Part 9. The Philosophical Freedom Framework. True freedom isn't just having options. True freedom is being free to choose what you want to want. Most people are trapped, not by their circumstances, but by desires that were programmed into them by forces they never recognized. This is meta-freedom, the freedom to examine and reshape your deepest motivations. You think you know what you want, but do you really? Or have your wants been carefully cultivated by marketers, social media algorithms, family expectations, and cultural conditioning? Your desires might not be your own. They might be the result of sophisticated manipulation that you've internalized as authentic preferences. Meta-freedom is the ability to step outside your own wanting and examine it objectively. It's the freedom to ask, why do I want this? Where did this desire come from? Does pursuing this want actually serve my deeper values and long-term well-being? Am I choosing what I want, or am I wanting what I've been programmed to choose? Most people never question their desires. They assume that whatever they want must be authentically theirs. But your wants are shaped by your environment, your experiences, and the messages you've been exposed to. Some of your desires might be authentic expressions of your true self. Others might be implanted responses to manipulation. The Philosophical Freedom Framework has 3 levels. Level 1 is having options to choose from. Level 2 is having the wisdom to choose well among those options. Level 3 is having the awareness to examine and potentially reshape the desires that drive your choices in the first place. Level 3 freedom is rare, because it requires you to question not just your decisions, but the wants behind your decisions. It requires you to examine whether your deepest motivations actually serve your authentic self, or whether they serve the interests of people who have successfully influenced you. Here's a practical method for developing meta-freedom. Before pursuing any major goal, ask yourself 3 questions. First, do I want this, or do I want to want this? Second, if I achieved this goal, would it actually make me the person I want to become? Third, am I pursuing this because it aligns with my values, or because I've been conditioned to believe it's important? When you develop meta-freedom, you realize that most of what you thought you wanted was actually what you were programmed to want. Your authentic desires might be completely different from your conditioned desires. This is both liberating and terrifying, because it means you might need to rebuild your entire life around different motivations. The highest form of freedom is the freedom to consciously choose your own values, desires, and motivations, instead of unconsciously adopting the ones that have been imposed on you. When you achieve meta-freedom, you become the author of your own wanting, instead of the victim of external manipulation. This is insight number 9 of 10, and it's your guide to achieving the deepest level of freedom possible. The freedom to choose what you choose to want. Part 10. The Digital Detox Redesign Protocol. Forget everything you've heard about digital detoxes. Taking a weekend off from your phone isn't going to solve a problem that's built into the structure of your entire environment. True freedom requires complete cognitive environment restructuring. You need to redesign your digital ecosystem to serve your goals, instead of hijacking your attention. Most digital detox advice focuses on willpower and discipline. Use your phone less, check social media less, resist the urge to scroll. But willpower is a limited resource, and you're fighting against systems designed by teams of neuroscientists and behavioral economists. You can't win a willpower battle against a billion-dollar manipulation machine. The solution isn't to use more willpower. The solution is to need less willpower. Instead of constantly fighting against digital temptation, you need to engineer an environment where healthy choices become automatic and unhealthy choices become difficult. Here's how cognitive environment restructuring actually works. First, you audit every digital touchpoint in your life. Your phone's home screen, your computer's desktop, your browser bookmarks, your app notifications, your subscription feeds. Each of these is either serving your goals or hijacking your attention. There's no neutral ground. Next, you redesign each touchpoint to support your desired behaviors instead of undermining them. Remove apps that waste your time. Turn off all non-essential notifications. Curate your feeds to show you information that helps you grow instead of information that makes you anxious. Design your digital environment like you would design a workspace for productivity and focus. The third step is attention recovery. Your ability to focus has been damaged by years of digital overwhelm. Like a muscle that's been injured, your attention needs rehabilitation. This means practicing sustained focus in small increments and gradually building up your concentration endurance. Focus rehabilitation works through deliberate practice. Start with 10 minutes of uninterrupted reading, then 15, then 20. Your goal is to rebuild your brain's ability to maintain attention on a single task without seeking distraction. This is a skill that must be actively developed, not just passively hoped for. The final step is creating sustainable systems that make healthy choices your default instead of requiring constant decision-making. Set up your environment so that the behaviors you want to develop are easier than the behaviors you want to. Make focus convenient and distraction inconvenient. When you complete the Digital Detox Redesign Protocol, something amazing happens. You stop being a victim of your digital environment and become the designer of your cognitive experience. Your technology starts serving your goals instead of hijacking your attention. This is insight number 10 of 10, and it's your complete blueprint for transforming your relationship with technology from digital slavery to digital mastery. You now have something that most people will never possess, the ability to see the invisible chains that keep you trapped in modern slavery. You understand how your brain is being hacked, how your attention is being sold, how your choices are being designed, how your comparisons are being manufactured, how your busyness is being weaponized, how your patience is being destroyed, how your identity is being monetized, how your fears are being exploited, how your desires are being programmed, and how your entire digital environment is working against your freedom. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. The real work begins now. These are just interesting ideas to think about. They're practical frameworks to implement. Each insight gives you a specific area where you can begin reclaiming your agency, rebuilding your autonomy, and designing a life that serves your authentic values instead of someone else's profit margins. The choice is yours. You can continue living as an unconscious participant in systems designed to extract your attention, energy, and resources. Or you can become a conscious architect of your own experience, using these insights to build unshakable freedom in a world designed to keep you dependent. Modern slavery is real, but it's not permanent. The moment you recognize the chains, you can begin breaking them. The moment you understand the game, you can stop playing by someone else's rules. The moment you see through the illusion, you can start creating your own reality. Your freedom isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Once you can't unsee what you've learned here, every choice becomes an opportunity to choose liberation over manipulation, authentic desire over manufactured want, and conscious creation over unconscious consumption. The revolution starts with you, and it starts right now.